Hello, welcome, beautiful, vibrant souls. Welcome all of my little love bugs who have their North Node in Aquarius. Super excited to do this North Node reading for you today. So I want to kind of go over a little bit of what this placement kind of means. Now, before I do, like I said, this is for people who either have their North Node in Aquarius or, any cross watchers where somebody important to them has their North Node in Aquarius. Excuse me. But this is also going to be very much, the caveat here is that it's not just about the sign your North Node is in. This is very much affected by the house it's in, by the interplanetary aspects between your North Nodes and your North Node and your other placements. So if you're looking to do a deeper dive into this for yourself personally based on your own personal astrology, you are welcome to contact me for a custom reading. My email address, my direct business email address is in the description box. You are also welcome to check out my shop and book a custom reading because I don't currently offer these, but I'm happy to do custom readings. And if I get enough requests, I will keep it as a permanent fixture. So, keeping that in mind, generally speaking, North Node in Aquarius is really a call to, excuse me, it's a call to get in touch with your authenticity, right? It's also a call to kind of embrace your inner weird, but embrace those parts of yourself that might not fit into the mainstream, because Aquarian energy is very futuristic. It's outside the box. I think to understand both Aquarian energy and the 11th house, it's important to kind of understand the story of the wheel of the zodiac, right? So we go through houses and signs, like Rick Light. We back up, Sedessa. We start with house, the first house, and we go all the way around to the 10th house. We go on this odyssey of personal exploration and then interpersonal, partnerships and challenges and ups and downs and expanding our viewpoint, our spirituality. And by the 10th house, we've really built something for ourselves, right? And once we've kind of we're looking around at everything we've done, that's when we're kind of being like, okay, what do I do next? And we've kind of gone as far as we can go on our own. And this is where Aquarius and the 11th house come in. Now, if you're at all familiar with astrology, a lot of cheat sheets will be like, the 11th house is about friendships and the future and communal living and, wishes. And you're kind of like, this is the junk drawer of astrology houses. What am I looking at? The connection between all of these things, and I think is at the core of Aquarian energy, is that once you've kind of gone as far as you can go as an individual, this is where you encounter the people, situations, circumstances, things, opportunities that help you expand and grow, right? This is where those wishes come in, because you want to grow. You're like, I did this, now I want to tackle this. And people come into your life to help you with that, right? People come into your life to help further your vision. You get your wish come true. You're given those opportunities, and it is expansive energy. It can also take you a little bit out of your comfort zone, which I think is really interesting, because I kind of feel like, Aquarius is a fixed sign. Excuse my burp, but it almost has this honorary mutable sign energy to me. But, these are all things to consider. So when we think about North Node in Aquarius, it is about, claiming you're weird. It is about really just being your authentic self and knowing that there is beauty, divinity, and value in that, for sure. It's also about connecting more to the superego and detaching from ego as much as possible. And it's about working within the collective. Now, I do want to say that I think because we are kind of in the age of Aquarius now, but in the very beginning stages and still kind of welcoming it in, significant Aquarian placements are, to me personally, always associated with people who are meant to kind of help bring in that new wave of consciousness, that new wave of thinking and believing. And I have a lot of thoughts about this. I'll save my TED Talk for another time. But I do kind of want to mention that as well for this particular placement. Now, it's important to kind of keep in mind with the North and the South Node, these are always oppositional from one another on the wheel of the zodiac. And the reason why is because our South Node, which I've done a South Node series, so if you're interested, feel free to check that out. But our South Node represents an energy we've already mastered, and this is why it's often associated with a past life, right? So not only is it an energy we've already, mastered, well, let me hang on. It's an energy we've already mastered. This is why our North Node is always opposite, because we're supposed to seek our North Node in the hopes of having equilibration, right, in the middle, like balance at a soul level. Sorry about my unsightly burn, by the way. I went out for Halloween with my friend, and I accidentally burnt myself on her curling iron. So sorry. And I forgot to mention this earlier. This is a timeless reading, so whenever you're coming across this, know that it was meant to find you. So yeah, that's kind of like how the North and South Node function. Something that I think is not really talked about a lot, but that's very, very important, is that South Node it's what you already know how to do. And the thing that's important about it is that at some point in your journey, as your North Node is kind of like known as your destiny. So at some point in your journey, as you get prepared to move toward your destiny, or as you're moving toward your destiny, the thing that will prompt you to do that, generally speaking, is that utilizing your South Node energy stops being effective. Or becomes actively like a detriment to you, right? And the reason why is because you're being pushed to move, to its opposite, to equilibrate, right? So having South Node in Leo means that you're likely somebody who is very comfortable in a leadership position. You're somebody who's very confident in themselves. They know what they want, and they, are not afraid to voice that. You're likely somebody who's very generous, very warm, very loving, giving, magnanimous, charismatic. But this can also produce this can manifest as a lot of attachment to individual people in your life. And this can also manifest sometimes as, in its shadow, you might get a lot of attention and start to become, I don't want to say reliant on validation, but very comfortable with it, to the point where when you have to kind of be in just like a collective, it might be very challenging for you. Another kind of issue that can go along with South Node in Leo is that this is where, because Leo is a heart-centered sign. It's ruled by the heart chakra. So it's like South Node in Leo can be when you love big, and it's like disappointing when people don't return that to you, right? When people don't. I'm laughing because one of my best friends, she has South Node in Leo, and then her sun sign's in Libra, and I'm like, oh damn, that's a tough life, right? Like, oof. I'm just taking my little sweater off because it's warm in here. So if you hear me struggling, that's what it is. Oh, there we go. I'm liberated. That's beautiful. Beautiful. So yeah, this is like, these can be kind of some of the struggles with South Node in Leo, right? Is that, when you bond to people, you bond very, very hard. This can be when people love you, they get like obsessed with you, and this might cause problems in your relationships or in your work, etc. This also too can kind of speak to feeling the need to always perform. And this is where I would say, look very carefully about the house it's in. Versus like this would, yeah, I would say that like this need to perform, right? So if somebody has South Node in Leo in like their 4th house, right? This would be where maybe growing up, they were always having to be on display. They were always having to be, again, performing. They're always praised for, one particular talent, for their looks, for, a performance they did when they were younger, and that's just like they can't get out of the shadow of that, right? It's a gilded cage kind of energy where you're beloved or appreciated or valued for something, but that's the only thing. This also to me can speak to somebody who, maybe like is very visually appealing. They're very stunning, or like they look really interesting, like they're visually appealing, and they kind of get like pigeonholed for being like beautiful, right? So it's a gilded cage kind of energy, because they do get a lot of benefits from that, but they're not allowed to really grow and expand past that, right? This to me is also somebody who like, this has the energy of like somebody who in their youth is really, really popular, but as a result, they hide a lot of their true, interests, their desires, their true feelings in order to remain popular, things like that, right? So there's light and shadow to everything. And so having South Node in Leo and North Node in Aquarius, this is really about getting out of the rigidity that South Node in Leo can sometimes create, whether this is you have to play a role in relationships, you feel like you have to perform a lot, you feel like you have to take up a leadership role, because it's like something that you're naturally very good at. But this is, like I said, your South Node will become less effective and more draining and exhausting to you the further into your life journey you go, particularly after a spiritual awakening or during one. That is usually a huge boost of energy to move you toward your North Node, right? So having North Node in Aquarius then really is all about being part of the collective without getting overly like very attached to certain relationships or certain relationships working out in a particular way. This is also about, kind of universal love instead of very, very focused, directed love toward, a few people or like toward one person in particular. And when I say love, I don't mean like romantic love exclusively. I mean love for family, love for friends. It's like instead of bonding super duper hard with, a handful of people or like a couple of people, you're really being encouraged to see groups of people through the eyes of unconditional and universal love, right? See their value for who they are and to not hold on to them as a result, right? This is also very much about understanding that everything has a greater purpose, and that in order to move toward the next step, the advancement, we have to A, think outside the box, and B, be willing to let go of what currently is in order to find what will be. Another thing that can kind of go along with this placement is that Aquarius is Aquarius is the truth seeker, the spiritual truth seeker, wanting to understand, wanting to know, wanting to grow, wanting to expand past your current awareness and consciousness. So sometimes South Node and Leo can again get very attached to one way of thinking. They are both fixed signs, so they can be both kind of stubborn, in their shadow. But like South Node and Leo is when you grow very attached to one way of thinking, one way of perceiving, one way of looking at somebody. You're very, very attached to that, to the point where it can become blinding. So having North Node then in Aquarius is being willing to detach and take enough of a step back that you're willing to see the bigger picture, see how it all flows together without being emotionally kind of thrown about by it, right? Like emotionally overwhelmed. So this is just a quick overview of what this placement can mean. And yeah, let's get into it. I was like trying to think if I had another point. So this is from a major arcana deck that I like to use for archetypes. And what this card serves to represent is what your guides are encouraging you to embody at this time to get you closer to your North Node energy. And then these two cards are really going to be talking about, maybe where you're seeing this, what area of life this applies to, or like more details about it. And we have a spirit guide message, and I'll be pulling tarot for further information and clarification. So yeah, let's take a look what your guides want you to know or embody. Oh, dip, the Lovers. Okay, so this is Gemini energy, first of all. So a lot of air going on here. This is a shift in consciousness. And I feel like it's interesting we got the Lovers and we were talking about that with the Leo energy here. What I feel like this is really referring to is, the Lovers is all about needing to make a choice and choosing something that's really like true to you in the heart and soul, right? Choosing something that just speaks to you down into your bones. That's very, very real to you, and committing to it. But in this particular situation with North Node in Aquarius, what I feel like this is talking about is how you show up in love relationships, right? So there might be a sense here, because Leo is a very loyal sign as well. There might be a sense here where some of you don't always pick based on, like, don't always pick things in life or relationships or friendships, whatever it might be, based on what you actually want. Again, there might be a little bit of this like facade, or like, you know, you're seen one way and you're kind of upholding that reputation, but it prevents you from seeking out what you desire. And that's the biggest thing here, is like getting in touch with your authentic desires and letting yourself live a life that you love, even if it's not what other people would do or would kind of think you would want, even if it's not in the mainstream. Really choosing a path that makes your heart happy, and being okay from detaching from other people's expectations, being okay if it's not for everyone, if not everyone's gonna like what you do, if not everyone's gonna approve of what you do. Yeah. Try to see if I get anything else from it. Not yet, so let's look at your oracle cards. We have, environment, okay. And, we have empathy. Okay, this is rose quartz with Venus energy, 14, which reduces to a 5. We have 44, a power number, that reduces to an 8. Okay, so I'm gonna just put this out here. For some of you, this is very much referring to a love relationship or somebody you're very, very close with. And this is somebody who, I feel like you guys are opposites attract. This could be about moving toward each other. This could be about a long distance situation, because whenever the environment card comes up, this to me is about like the spaces you occupy on a regular basis, your home, your workspace, the places you like to go. It's your regular environment. And because it's green, this is very much talking about needing to align, or trying to align, working on aligning your external space to be in alignment with your internal frequency. And this is what I feel like you're being encouraged to work on right now. There's something that's trying to come into alignment for you, that you've been really, really, really wanting. You've been very wrapped up in this situation. Like I said, for some of you, this is a person. This is absolutely a person, absolutely a relationship. And you're like really wanting things to work out with this person. Sorry, I thought I saw a bug around here. Did I see a bug? Oh, you guys, I'm so scared. Oh, so scared. I didn't see a bug. Okay. No, I did see a bug. Dude, what? Okay, sorry. I'm a human being. I'm back on this planet. Anyway, for some of you, you and this person, you're very different. You might be looking to move in together, or you want to spend more time together. If this is long distance, you're looking to close the gap a little bit. But for some of you, it's like you want to get closer to this person. And what the point of this person, like the point of this situation with this person right now, is to try to get you to pick something that really speaks to you. Okay, sorry, I'm like sitting with this for a minute. So with the Lovers here, and we have two little oysters here that both have pearls, but they're facing away from each other. So whatever, you and this other entity, whether it's a person, an opportunity, this is something where I feel like you're either at odds, or you're just kind of not really engaged with it currently, right? Because they're facing away from each other. I just bumped my tarot deck, you guys. I'm having like a moment here, and I did not have these issues when I was filming some of the other readings. Wow, yeah, Temperance was the card that went flying. Okay, so for some of you, this is with a Sagittarius, or you could be a Sagittarius. But the point is to try to find balance. This feels like in a relationship, this is opposites attract. This person might have their North Node in Leo and their South Node in Aquarius, or they could be like a Aquarius Sun or Venus in Aquarius. There's something here where they're trying to help move you toward your North Node. So you and this person are very, very different. I feel like you might be prone to being more attached. You want to hold them very, very close, right? And this person might be more of a free spirit. You could see this person a lot in your regular environment. Like I said, I want to pull a clarifier for this because it's going to bother me until I do. Oh, you have the Fool reversed. Okay. And the Four of Pentacles. So there is this decision that I feel like you're trying to kind of figure out either with this person or about this person. About either moving in together, being like in each other's space more often, or like moving toward each other, traveling together, something like that, a shift and change in environment. And this would be a really big decision with the Fool, like a really significant new cycle in your life. And I feel like because this card is reversed and this card is upright, right now the status quo is that this is kind of like a no-go, right? And I feel like this is why you and this person are kind of at odds. You might be fighting. Excuse my burp. You're in separation because we have the number 5 here. So there's been challenges. There's been ups and downs. There's been fights. And what your guides are trying to tell you is to try to see this person with empathy. Try to see this person as not only similar to you, but also offering something important, right? So let's say, like, you know, if this person, this is an opposites attract situation, this person, you and this person have a lot in common, but you also are really different, right? There's circles around their head and it's looking like a Venn diagram here. And you're being encouraged to see the things that you have in common and also to celebrate your differences, because they're turned away from each other, but there's a pearl in both. And when I see pearls, if you've been here for a minute, you know my whole spiel about this. When I see pearls, this to me indicates, it makes me think of pearls of wisdom. So these are not only lessons that you have to teach one another, but these are lessons that come from repeated challenges. And the reason why is because the way a pearl is formed is an irritant gets into the shell of a mollusk, and it's usually a grain of sand, but not always. And just irritates the crap out of its little soft tissues. So the mollusk secretes a substance called nacre. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's Nacre. If I'm wrong, put it in the comments. And this is that kind of iridescent pearly substance, and it just coats the irritant over and over and over and over and over again to try to protect its soft tissues. So at the end, you have this beautiful pearl, but it is born out of repeated exposure to something difficult or irritating, and having to always, you know, add another layer, right? Having to always kind of, you know, deal with it another round, another round, another round. So you guys both have life lessons. You both have past life strengths. This is why I'm thinking you guys are opposites attract. You guys both have things to offer each other. You might have major synastry where, again, like your sun is their north node, or, you know, even like your sun or Venus or moon is their south node. There's something where you guys are helping to, the connection you have is either helping to kind of let go of south node energy or move toward north node energy. And so what you're being encouraged to do right now is to try to see this person as, I don't want to say an extension of yourself, but as a version of yourself, as part of your spiritual learning process, especially if they're very triggering to you. Because again, I feel like you might be prone to want to like hold them close, to hold on to things. You also might be a little more prone to have certain terms and stipulations for the relationship. And these are just like, I feel like the other person might just kind of like do that Aquarian thing where they like are a free spirit. They march to the beat of their own drum. We saw that Sagittarian energy as well. So somebody could have like Sagittarian energy going on, or major Sagittarius synastry in their chart, or something like that. But what you're being encouraged to do right now is to not only see the situation and see them through the eyes of love, but also choose love in those moments, right? Choose to love yourself, choose to love, you know, find love for them. And that doesn't mean tolerate toxic behavior. I want to make that abundantly clear. Unconditional love is not the same thing as unconditional tolerance of toxicity. That's a big difference, right? But this is really what I feel like you guys are being encouraged to do right now. Now, if this is not necessarily related to a particular person, I feel like there's something where you're looking to make changes in your everyday life and you're concerned about upsetting certain people, right? You're maybe concerned about not being accepted, not being loved, not, having feelings reciprocated. It's like, if I come out and I live the life I love, if I do what I want to do, if I follow a path that feels right to me, makes me happy, what am I sacrificing in the process? What kind of destabilizing am I experiencing in the process? And what your guides would want you to know in that situation is to try to, if somebody has if you just being you produces a negative response in somebody else, to try to remain detached from, like, not accept their energy as your own. Again, that Aquarian kind of energy where you're observing, what's happening, but you're also seeing the truth, and that helps you stay detached, and vice versa. Staying detached helps you see that truth. So with the Lovers, this would be like, let's say, you want to move and this upsets your family, right? It's holding space for being able to be like, I'm going to choose what I feel like I need to do, what I love, and I understand this is upsetting for you, and I feel that, I honor that, but I also need to, like, it's like seeing the truth of the situation, which is that just because somebody else is triggered by your authenticity does not mean you should not pursue that. As well as, holding space for the idea that, even though we're all interconnected, we're all very, very connected to one another and to source, we're all also walking our own journeys, right? And so you have to walk yours in a way that's right for you. And that person has to walk theirs in a way that's right for them. And, family has to walk theirs in ways that are right for them. And a huge portion of that journey is untangling old programming and moving forward in a direction that is authentic to your happiness. And I feel like that's what you, my lovely viewer, are on track to be able to, are kind of on track to be doing or to be creating more of in your life. And we have this card where the Merkaba is the same color as the background. And when I see that in this deck, that to me means that your internal frequency is in resonant harmony with your external reality, meaning you've done or are doing the inner work, and then you start to see the changes manifest externally. You start to see your life change. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing here. But let's look at your spirit guide message. New beginnings. I always like how it looks like it's about to like flip them off. They're like, oh, I don't want you to see. Like, it's like doing the one where you flip people off and you're like cranking your finger up. That's kind of the vibes. Anyway, everything in life is constantly vibrating and moving, and therefore continuously changing and evolving. Be aware that a new beginning is on the horizon. Have courage and faith, because right now, life is trying to nudge you forward and move you in a new direction. No doubt. I want to pull cards about this, though, because I am nosy. Oh, it's this one, too. I was surprised by that. It's not always the case. Okay, yeah, we'll start there. And then we have the Magician reversed at the bottom. Yeah, you're trying to create a new life for yourself, but I feel like there's a lot of hesitancy about what other people will think. And this might be people who are very close to you, or just what people think of you in general, or both. Oh, we have the King of Swords. There it is. The Ace of Pentacles, new beginnings. Wow, and the Knight of Pentacles. Okay, so you guys see these? I'm really good at putting cards out of the frame. So you guys, with the King of Swords here, first of all, air energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Earth energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. I feel like you guys are calling this into being, right? You guys are very smart. You guys are very wise. I feel like because of this South Node and Leo energy, you've had to learn to be very strategic in information that you share. You've also learned, with the eyes glowing here, to observe everything, right? Again, it's like this energy of like a performer, right? Where you have to you always have to be in a role. You always have to be playing a certain role. You always have to be fulfilling a certain role. I don't know how else to say it. And as a result, whether you're aware of it or not, this may have produced a little bit of hypervigilance, where you're always kind of keeping an eye on, like, okay, what is this person doing? What is that person doing? And it feels like you're always having to kind of check your own desires against what other people will think of it, right? Again, other people's perception of you. So you're very mentally agile in that way, right? Very strategic. And that's not like in a bad way in this situation. It's just like how you've kind of experienced this energy. But I'm also seeing, you know, with the King of Swords, I feel like you've called this new beginning in your life, and we see this here. And it's taking its time with the Knight of Pentacles, but I feel like now is the time where it's here, or it's very soon going to be here, right? And with the Knight of Pentacles here, I feel like what your guides are saying is that this new beginning is on its way, or is starting, or will be starting very soon. And it's going to be a journey, right? It's not going to be an overnight thing where you know, set off on this new life and then, you know, you cast off everybody in a big dramatic show. It's going to be many moments of needing to stand in your authenticity. And it's okay. You're going to need to make the choice to choose the life you love over and over and over again. You will get practice with this. And it's okay. Like I said, if your truth is if your authentic truth, your integrity, who you really are, is upsetting to other people, that's okay. It doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. And I know it doesn't make it any easier when you're facing rejection or multiple rejections. But you've been wanting this new beginning, this new start. You know, for some of you, this is in love. You've been wanting this new path. I'm also getting to, because the tree almost looks like it's very much made of energy. This is something that's taking form now, that's starting to actually come into your reality now, because you've done a lot of work energetically to, you know, get clear on what you want, to think about the vision for your future. It feels like you're just hesitating to kind of pull the trigger, right? Now, for some of you, if this is having to do with a partner, and you're struggling in this relationship, you're being asked to really see this person with, like, through a new perspective, like we talked about. See this as a brand new opportunity to do things differently, to try things you've never tried before, to build skills that you don't have right now, or that are not as strong right now. Because again, very much opposites attract. And so you're being encouraged to try to, like, take this as a learning opportunity to strengthen your perspective of self, of relationships, and of others. And this will be a very abundant journey for you. It's going to be a long process. It doesn't happen overnight, but it can bring forward a lot of, because I pulled for fun while I was talking, and we have the Fool reversed and the Ten of Wands upright. This is kind of saying there are going to be moments where it's tough. You're going to have to kind of put down a lot of these wands, right? You're going to have to deconstruct a lot of what you've spent time, you know, carrying with you, whether you're aware of it or not. You know, people's opinions, the programming that you've had, what you feel you need to do, what you feel you're worth. There's a million different things this can kind of represent, but you've been carrying a lot of energy, both of what is expected of you and what you actually want, right? You've been carrying a lot here, and I feel like the fear in taking the leap on this new opportunity, you know, going toward this relationship, moving toward this location, changing jobs, whatever this might be, the idea of doing it, I feel like, is intimidating, because it's like, I'm going to have to think about, you know, again, like, I'm going to have to carry the weight of everybody else's expectations, of having to tell people a million times over, no, you know, I'm not doing this anymore, or like, I'm actually going in this direction, and having to face ridicule, scrutiny, and or public rejection many, many times. And that's what's holding you back from taking the leap. But what your team wants you to know is that you're already carrying the weight of these expectations, right? You're already carrying the weight of these expectations. So to not leap in the direction of something that calls to you, of something that you love, of somebody you love, when it's what you feel you need to be doing, when it's what's true to you in the heart and soul, is you're just carrying around empty baggage. Like, or, you know, you're carrying around baggage with no purpose, no point. You're like going through the difficulty of the Ten of Wands anyway, without even enjoying the new stable beginning that grows from that. Because I do feel like that's what's kind of holding a lot of you back, is like, what will people say? What will I say? How will I defend this choice? You know, how will I uphold this role? You know, what, you know, people think this about me. How will I be able to maintain my image? And it's not like a shallow thing, right? Interesting, I cut the deck again. We have the Lovers reverse and the Seven of Swords reverse. So it's time to get very truthful. And for some of you, this means being very public about what it is you want from your life, what you love. The third eye is open here, so this is something where intuitively you already know, psychically, spiritually, you feel drawn to whatever this is for you, this new beginning is for you. And at the end of the day, you know, you don't have to justify it to anybody. Do you want to miss out on something that you love, on something that would be amazing for you just because you're too, I don't want to say just because you're too afraid to like own it, because that's really hard to do. Like, it's really hard to do. But at the end of the day, do you want to live a life that you're happy with, right? Do you want to carry around the 10 of Wands, the expectations of other people, to the point where you miss out on something that would make you really, really happy? Because your guides really want you to be happy. Like I said, you've been calling in this new beginning. And I love it's like a little finger here. Maybe that's what it is. You're like kind of secretly like flipping people off, like, fuck you, I'm gonna do, like, I don't want to do this, or like, I want to do this instead. This is who I actually am. And you're being kind of encouraged to like stand in that. It doesn't mean you have to actually start like flipping people off, but like, you know, just stand in like, nope, this is what I want to do. This is what, yeah, I just cut the deck and we have the Knight, the King of Pentacles. So, you know, being very solid, very stable, and like, this is who I am. This is what I want to do, you know. I also got the deck and I got Temperance and the Four of Cups reversed. So for some of you, this is like, there's a love relationship where it could be like you guys are opposites attract, but this person could also be very different than the people in your circle, right? They could have a really different, you know, spiritual belief system, religious background, you know, career background, political background, whatever else it is. Like, they could be really different in a very noticeable way, and there's like a fear of like, oh God, how do I bring this person around? Yeah, and then I cut behind Temperance was the Tower. And I feel like a lot of you are afraid to own this thing because you're like, this just, yeah, I cut it again. Three of Swords reversed. I do this sometimes while I talk. And then Ace of Cups reversed, or upright, excuse me. There's like a fear of taking this leap with the Ace of Cups because there's a fear of heartbreak, of rejection. But I feel like with the Tower here and the Three of Swords, like, this is happening. This change needs to happen. The old will continue to crumble and fall away until it is no more, right? So do you want to wait for that to happen? Or do you want to leap from that crumbling building, right? Because the traditional tower is on fire as well. Do you want to leap from that building on fire into a situation, a new beginning that you love, right? At the end of the day, do you want to burn in the tower for other people's desires for your life? Or do you want to just like go for it? Jump out that window and know that Spirit's going to catch you. Jump toward your desires, toward, you know, your love, toward the people that actually love you as well. The people who love you enough to want you to stand in your authenticity, to want you to get to be your honest self. And the thing that's scary is that standing in that with this new beginning means that it's going to show you who's really there for you, who's really supporting you. And I think that's what a lot of people here are afraid of, and understandably so. I want to just pull some more tarot about what your guides want you to know about this situation. I'm hearing 4 months, so don't be surprised if some of this comes out over the next 4 months. Ace of Cups at the bottom. Ooh, sorry, the phone is ringing. Was not expecting that. Cool. Sorry, guys. There's a landline right over on the other side of where I film. My bad. So maybe you guys will be getting an important call. Maybe you're waiting on an important call. Your guides are like, all right, the universe is calling. Are you going to answer? Are you not? If the universe is calling you, I'm sorry, I just hung up on them for you. That's my bad. You can blame that one on me. But yeah, so for some of you, if you choose to kind of take this leap, or even if you don't, there's going to be these moments where you're going to have to stand in your power and stand up for yourself, or that's the choice you'll be faced with. Over the next 4 months, those tower moments might start happening. So just so you're prepared. Queen of Swords reversed. Yep. 10 of Pentacles. Yep. I know what this is talking about. 2 of Cups. Oh my God. What the hell were we just talking about? The Magician reversed. A lot of air energy here. And the High Priestess reversed. So Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, and Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, the Queen of Swords. This is exactly what we're talking about. Two of Cups. There's something that you really want in the heart and soul. This is usually a soulmate card, a relationship. We also have the dark moon here, so this is kind of making me think of like the new moon. This is something that's starting. It's either starting now or very, very soon. You're calling this into your life. But things need to kind of come into balance to make room for it first. You want this. This is something you've been calling in. You've been wanting this. Right? And there's two little cheetahs here as well, meaning you and the other entity here, whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a living opportunity, like a living situation opportunity, you both want this equally. You both want to charge after this equally. You want to go for it. Again, universe is calling. And the time to answer that call is fast approaching, if not already here. And again, I don't think it's going to be like one big decision, then boom, that's it. It might be one major decision, but there's also going to be a lot of little moments where you're going to have to keep standing in this and reaffirming this. With the Queen of Swords reversed and the Ten of Pentacles, first of all, this again means struggling to stand up for yourself and advocate for yourself, because whatever you're having to let go of is foundational. This could be where you're afraid of having to be ostracized from your family. You might be possibly forfeiting an inheritance or like a family home or something like that. But whatever this is long-standing, this is solid, this is foundational to you. So there's a fear of advocating for what you really want in life, saying, I choose this, I want this, right? Queen of Swords upright's very direct with her communication, very decisive, very discerning, right? So there's this thing where you're struggling to advocate for yourself, and I think this can also be reflective of struggling to trust your own decision, right? Because whatever this is a big leap for you. This is not just like one that you're running the risk of really forfeiting a lot. And it's kind of like, okay, if I do this, am I going to regret it? And the thing is, it is about this situation, but it's also about so much more, right? Because it is about whatever this is that you've been wanting, this soulmate, this job, this, opportunity to travel or move. But it's about something that you really want in your heart and soul, and it's just for you. You want it, and it doesn't matter what other people want. So I do see that fear here. And for some of you with the Queen of Swords reversed, this is because there is a feminine energy, possibly air sign, who is very foundational to you, right? Has been in your life a long time, plays a significant role, is either part of your family or like family to you. This could be, a co-parent to your child, an ex-spouse. Like this is where you guys were, you guys are heavily intertwined in each other's lives, or you used to be. So for some of you, there is this I feel like there is fear of this person's reaction in particular. This would be somebody who is harsh with their words, somebody who is a poor communicator. This is somebody who can be manipulative. This is someone who generally doesn't know what they want or struggles to be very clear on what they want, and as a result projects outward onto other people. So it's like if they want you to do something or not do something, instead of just saying, hey, I think this might be the way to go, or like, I would like you to do this, and allowing you to respond authentically, right? Because when we're very direct, we are putting all the information out on the table so somebody can generate an honest, authentic response. This is not a person who does that. This is a person who is like, let's say this is moving away and this is a mother figure. This would be somebody who's like, in the back of their mind, they're like, I don't really want my child to move too far away from me. So they try to kind of dissuade them. They try to imply. This would be somebody who tries to guilt trip instead. They're like, but what will we do without you in this scenario? What will we do without you here? And they are asking the question, but what they're really trying to do is make you feel guilty for, it's like, I didn't think about what you do in scenario A or B or C. I guess there's so many things. I can't really leave. I can't really move forward, right? And that's just an example. If this is like work, this is a boss that's like, oh, but you know, they're promising you the world, right? They're promising you promotions, they're promising you raises. What will we do without you? Everything will fall apart. So they are like trying to stroke your ego, but they're also trying to manipulate you into doing what they want you to do. However this resonates for you, there's a lot on the line. There's a lot riding on this, or that's what it seems like. But over here, the Magician reverse, the High Priestess reverse, you already know intuitively. We saw that with that other version of the Lovers in the third eye. You already know what you need to do. You feel guided toward it. Your guides are leading you toward this. You're already calling this in. This is already on its way to you if it's not already, like if it hasn't begun to emerge already in your life. You have manifested this. You are manifesting this. But, excuse my burp, what might be kind of causing this back and forth a little bit is a doubt in yourself, a doubt in your own power, right? Because the Magician like seizes their power. And the Magician manifests what they want out of life, right? And it's their intention, as well as the, you know, they have all the tools. It's their intention. They are that fifth element that drives their manifestation forward. And for some of you with empathy here, it's like you are calling in this new beginning, but you also, the thing that's holding you back is that there's somebody in some type of environment, right? In your family, in your friend group, in your apartment building, you know, in your life, where you're trying to see their point of view to a level where, and this is where that slight detachment from Aquarius North Node comes in, to a level where it's now harming you. It's now like putting it's now choking off your manifestations, because you're worrying a lot about how your actions are affecting this person. And it's to a level where they need to figure it out themselves. They need to learn how to handle this on their own. It can't always be up to you, and it can't always be up to you at the expense of what you love and what you want out of life. And people who really love you understand that, right? People who really love you want to work with you instead of fight against you in order to get what they want, right? People who really love you want both of you to win, not just to win on their terms. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So yeah, you know, this North Node in Aquarius energy is coming through at this time in your life in order to help encourage you to balance your attachment, balance your love, balance your empathy, balance your sense of loyalty with your own heart's desires, you know, your own wishes, with your own, you know, self-compassion, and to also not hold back out of fear of loss. I want to pull like one more card about that in particular, because I feel like, okay, Six of Swords reversed, that's an inner child healing card to me. So again, this is like family, and Ace of Cups. I feel like there is this fear of moving on, or of, you know, of calling it, right? The Six of Swords is always kind of like moving to calmer waters with a heavy heart. I feel like there is this fear around doing that. But I also pulled, for giggles, the Eight of Swords reversed. I feel like this person's covered in ivy, and the Ten of Swords reversed at the bottom. Wow. Ivy is associated with unconditional love. I feel like whoever this is, or whatever the situation is where you're trying to like placate them, you've really done a lot, and it's been in the name of unconditional love, right? The ivy is almost growing over this person. I don't know if you can see, to the point where like it's over the majority of their body. They're pretty stuck there, right? They're not really, but they kind of are. I feel like the blindfolds come off about this situation. You're seeing them clearly for who they are. And with the Six of Swords reversed, I feel like there is fear about moving forward, but this person's also trying to keep you in chaos. This is, you know, like, again, you're leaving choppy waters, you're having to cut your losses, but it's in order to move on to a better situation. So even though it's a bummer, you're like, all right, this will end up being better in the end, right? But it's reversed. This person wants to keep you in chaos. I think you already know this. This person doesn't really matter, or like, doesn't really matter, excuse me, it doesn't matter to them a whole lot if you are super happy with it, right? Your happiness here doesn't matter to this person. I'm not saying it doesn't matter at all, But generally speaking, this person is more focused on getting what they want, and because it's the Queen of Swords reversed, they often manipulate to do that. This person's more focused on getting what they want than they are on your happiness. And they do justify it to themselves, right? And like, you know, I'm sure this person's been through their own stuff. I'm not trying to knock them. I'm sure, you know, and this might be why you try to extend empathy to them, because you've seen that they've gone through a lot as well. And that's admirable, right? You know, when people manipulate, and it's never okay, but when people manipulate, it's because they don't know how to ask for what they want directly, or they think if they do, it won't be met, right? And the farther we go without addressing those things in our life, the more ingrained those patterns become. And so especially with North Node and Aquarius, if you've been really working on that, you know, seeking universal truths, that might be really triggering to this person. And the more on this journey you've gone, the farther in this journey you've gone, the more you might butt heads with this person. And I do feel like the situation is coming to a head, because whatever this is, you really want this for yourself. The moth, you feel intuitively drawn to it like a flame. And this is because this really speaks to your heart. And this person's very threatened by that. This person doesn't want you to move toward your happiness. This person would rather keep you in chaos if that means keeping you, not understanding that you moving toward your happiness is the best shot at you guys being able to continue to be in each other's lives, right? Not understanding that by pushing you repeatedly, they are running the risk of you walking out altogether, right? Or putting up some significant boundaries. This person, I don't think they're a bad person, but I think this person's in an incredibly selfish energy. And this person's kind of trying to utilize that a little bit to make you play the role they want you to play. And they're not really understanding that this is your happiness on the line. And thus, if you take action toward it, they're not going to understand the importance of that action. They're gonna most likely kind of counter with like, well, don't you care about me? Don't you care about us? Don't you care about the you know, situation you're leaving behind? Not really thinking about the fact that you have to be happy too. You have to be, you know, in a healthy place. You deserve to be able to live the life that you want, the new beginnings that you're trying to achieve here. So your guides just kind of want to acknowledge that, especially if you're really like worried about this person or disappointing this person. But what is kind of on the other side, right? Even if you're fearful, I have to say, you know, 10 of Pentacles was upright. I feel like if you're fearful of having to forfeit, it's a lot of F words, fearful of forfeiting. If you are fearful about having to forfeit home, family, inheritance, something like that, I feel like your guides are saying there's nothing to worry about. Either this will not actually happen, this is just a fear that this person may have heavily implied, or you will find this elsewhere. Either way, this will be coming to you either way, whether it's from this initial situation or it's in a new situation, right? So let's say this is putting up an ultimatum with your boss about getting a raise, like a regular scheduled raise. You know, the fear might be, okay, push comes to shove, I have to leave and go in a different direction. I might be really forfeiting, you know, a lot of material stability. I might be forfeiting a really solid future. And your guides want you to know you're not actually losing anything. If this person retaliates and tries to withdraw something from you, Spirit's going to bring it back to you another way. Because you should not be punished, and you should not be punished for living your dreams, your manifestations. The universe is giving you what you want because you deserve it, and you shouldn't be punished for that. They're very clear about that. So I think this is just about everything that I am seeing for the time being. I hope this has been helpful for you guys. It's been an honor and a joy to get to read for you today. I am wishing you guys the best, the brightest, the most beautiful things that life has to offer, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.